Hey guys, so I wanted to talk to you about a topic that's been coming up a lot for me, and I've also noticed that it's coming up a lot for the collective right now. And I got a lot of insight yesterday through a download about how we should be, dealing with this. So the topic involved is about the feminine and speaking out about the things that have happened to us or happened for us, but speaking out in a way that doesn't blame or accuse the masculine or enforce our own ego identification as the victim. So, I posted a video about a week ago about a personal experience that I had after a Reiki attunement where I was feeling so much pain in my womb, and a consciousness approached me and said that I was birthing the pain and suppression and anger and rage of the feminine from being put down for so long and having to go through so much pain, essentially. And after I posted this, a few other people have told me that, they experience a very similar thing too. And I feel like it's very, very, very important for us to talk out and, I guess, bring up what has happened to us so that we're not suppressing our voices, because I know that I've had many circumstances where I've not spoken my truth. I've not spoken my voice. I've allowed myself to remain in many, many uncomfortable situations, specifically with men, because I was so afraid of having a voice or so afraid of speaking out because, in my personal opinion, I valued the other person more than myself and didn't necessarily care about myself and my own feelings. And I'm not sure if that rings true to other women, but for me, that was kind of why I remained in uncomfortable situations without speaking the truth. So it's really, really important at this time for the feminine to speak out about her suppression in her bloodline, as well as suppression of the feminine in general, because we're experiencing this immense healing and purging of everything that's ever happened to the feminine throughout history on our planet, so that we can transmute it into light and release it and let it go, so that we don't have this painful, dark, dense history and, I guess, just information stored in our DNA, because it doesn't serve us anymore, because what had happened in the past or in parallel realities does not need to define where we are going on a projected timeline on Earth right now. It's not aligned, because what happened came of a place of immense duality and immense separation, whereas we're going to a place of complete unity. And in unity, separation, duality, blame, accusations, suppression, those things don't survive, right? So as we're speaking out about this things, I'm so sorry. As we're speaking, I shouldn't even say sorry. We've been so programmed as women to say sorry just for like the littlest of things, but it's fine. We'll figure that out and we'll heal it. What I was saying was, I had an instance yesterday, actually, at an appointment where I was speaking out about a lot of the circumstances and life situations that I've encountered with other men and with myself, not necessarily speaking out and allowing myself to remain in uncomfortable situations. The insight and download that I received after doing this and a little bit while doing this is a lot of why we as women hold on to these things, hold on to the suppression of the feminine, hold on to what men have done to us, is because it enforces that victim identity. Now, I'm not downgrading anybody's situations or things that they've experienced by saying you're not a victim. What I'm saying is the idea of thinking something happened to you instead of for you, and playing this victim role by accusing other people, does enforce separation. It does inflate your own ego. There's a way to talk about your circumstances and talk about what has happened without enforcing this victim mentality, and therefore enforcing a perpetrator mentality on another person, therefore bringing up these emotions of blame and guilt and shame. We need to find a way as women to speak up about what has happened to us now, to us in the past, without blaming or accusing the masculine. Because if we're blaming and accusing men for things that have happened to us, that's not actually solving anything. That's just continuing this repeated cycle of one energy being imbalanced. Because if the feminine's on the rise and the masculine's trying to balance out this toxicity, if we're constantly like shoving blame and accusations towards the masculine, it's going to keep being toxic because we're enforcing the toxic masculine by all these accusations. And again, I'm not saying that somebody didn't do something to you. Somebody did do something to you, but there is not actually anybody to blame in this situation because on a higher level, you both chose for that situation to happen for your own growths. I know sometimes it can be hard to get out of the victim mindset and see that. I know I've experienced that, and I know people close to me have experienced that too. But once you can get out of this mindset that this happened to me, this person did this, I blame this person, I blame men, etc., you're able to transmute the energy in a more efficient way because you're no longer holding on to that karma by blaming men. And that's actually one of the big things that we're transmuting right now as feminine. As we're also gaining our voice back and speaking out about what has happened, we are also simultaneously forgiving the masculine and allowing the masculine to have space to then grow from the conditioning that they've grown up in, right? Because if a masculine were to have done something to you in this lifetime, it's more than likely that they have done that because of societal conditioning. They actually did not know any better. And I know that can be hard to allow yourself to think or allow yourself to believe because you want to remain in this victim mindset because your ego latches on to what's happened to you to create this like false sense of self. But the moment you're actually able to collapse this whole victim, perpetrator, blame, guilt, shame mindset, you're collapsing that trauma not only for yourself but for the entire collective of masculines and feminines. So by doing this incredible and profound work of forgiveness and finding equality and strength within to not blame another person for your life circumstances, you're healing so many people. And it's hard sometimes to think that like when we're doing our personal healing we're actually affecting other people, but we are because we're setting future timelines by our decisions now. So by deciding now that we're not going to blame the masculine, we're going to hold space for the masculine to grow because he did the things that he did because of conditioning and because of our society is based on this patriarchy, right? So they don't know any better. They're grown up in this realm that they think this is what they can do, but they're not to blame for that. There is no blame. We're able to transcend this whole idea of sexual trauma, which like that's a huge deal, like a huge deal, and something that we actually have to transmute in order to move to New Earth because, and I don't mean like move to New Earth as if we're not already here already, but to bring the New Earth energies in more by shining light into the shadow of the 3D paradigm, the 3D patriarchy, shining a light in that. The feminine needs to support and shine light, be compassionate. That's what we need to do. We have to step up as divine feminines and actually be compassionate to those who we have perceived hurt us. And that's actually the way to transmute this generational trauma that literally pretty much every single person has experienced in this life, past lives, this dimension, other dimensions. Like, it's powerful, powerful work. Like, this paradigm and mindset shift has completely allowed me to release so many karmic ties, so many karmic agreements, and I only went through this 24 hours ago. So I really wanted to share this message with you because I feel like this shift out of the victim mindset, out of realizing that there is no victim, there is no perpetrator, you co-created this idea and situation together either before you came in or through the astral before it happened. It's a co-creation. Two people were involved in choosing this situation. And I also understand that it can be kind of upsetting or disheartening to think that, hey, I chose for this to happen to me, but, you know, you did. And you did because you knew that you could grow from it, and you did because you know that you could learn from it, and you did it for not only healing yourself, but healing your bloodline, helping healing the other person involved, and helping healing the entire freaking collective, which is so powerful. So any woman who have gone through this, any man who's been a part of this, you guys are all powerful beings because you chose to experience these things to heal them for yourselves and the collective. And that's profound. And I honor you for this incredible, profound work. And if you have any more questions about this, please feel free to please feel free to send me a direct message on Instagram. I'll put my URL in the bio below. I know like this topic is very like heavy and dense, so like I completely understand if this wasn't enough information and you have more questions. So feel free to send me a message and I will completely help walk you through this with you. Okay, peace.